Mama skenda ba sekara ba shindi buskaya. Mama sekara ba rinda buskaya. In the name of Satan, sorry, in Jesus Christ, in the name of Satan, in the name of Jesus, in the name of Lucifer, in the name of Masekari, hey Masekari.
Sexual manipulation. I'm gonna tell y'all a quick story of what happened to me when I was online recently. Now I'm online on this social media app, and I'm just scrolling through my page, and this woman hits me up, right? Now it's about 7, 8 in the morning. So normally when you speak to somebody, you would say good morning, or hey, how you doing? And so this lady hits me up and says, what's good? And I replied with, hello. Now that was the first manipulative tactic right there. Instead of having a proper greeting of saying good morning or hello or hi, how are you doing? What's good? And so this woman proceeds to say some of the most incredulous things I've probably ever heard a woman say. This woman says, would you like to meet for free? And right after she made that comment, she shows me a naked picture of her. I replied that I am not interested in getting with a woman who automatically comes to me suggesting that we have sex. If you're unwilling to get to know me, then I'm going to walk away from this conversation. And what does this woman do? Sends me a link to some sex website, which I have no interest in whatsoever, and sends me another naked picture. At that point, I blocked and deleted it. And this is the whole premise of me making this video, sexual manipulation. Don't get it twisted. I love sex just like the next man does. I love being intimate with a woman. I love the fiery passion that comes with intimacy with a woman. But I would not allow any woman to coerce or force me into sex right off the rip. I don't get down like that. You can't just easily maneuver me into getting sex with you simply because you on your rocker or you just horny at that moment. And the same thing applies with men as well. We will talk about the men portion in a minute. But back to this sexual manipulation thing. Ladies, you need to keep in mind that every man is not automatically turned on by your sexual prowess. Don't get it twisted. There is nothing wrong with a beautiful and curvaceous and sexually appealing woman. I happen to love all aspects of a woman. However, when you're pursuing men like me, right off the bat, with sex, it's the instant red flag and it automatically turns me off. A lot of men aren't enticed by your sexual prowess. Granted, we love a beautiful woman, but if that's all you got to offer, then you need to keep that to yourself. Or pursue other men who have no problem getting with you in that regard. Sexual manipulation is very real because unfortunately, a lot of women out here only view themselves as a sexual object. And I'm here to imply to you ladies that every man is not going to go along with that concept. Sexual manipulation is very persistent throughout social media. You see it on damn near every single Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, Twitter post. A lot of women out here are trying to entice men at the very least for attention, at the very max for money, just to lure men into their sexual trap. And many men fall for it because many men have a sexual appetite and lust and thirst for that thing. But as I stated, many guys such as myself, we're not easily fooled by manipulation. Yes, when I was younger, a woman could have fooled me with that. But when you grow older and become wiser, and you start to fully adapt to the games that these women out here are playing, that manipulation goes out of the window. You cannot just think you can get by men like me. And when I dismiss you because of that, trust and believe I'm going to do it in a polite and respectful way. Sexual manipulation occurs because of a few reasons. One reason is, unfortunately, there are women out here who have been raped and abused when they were younger, who have been sexually touched and violated when they were younger. And so they truly believe that the only way they can get the attention or the validation from men is to be sexually promiscuous. However, the mistake many women commit in thinking like that is by convincing themselves that every single man is easily lured like that. Men of God, men with vision, men with purpose, men that are wholeheartedly committed to the statutes, rules, laws, and commandments of the Most High, that don't turn us on at all. We don't get psyched into that. Because when we're purpose driven, when we're doing what we're supposed to do as men, that's only reserved for valuable and special women in our lives. Most notably our wives. So I hope that woman that I turned down learned a valuable lesson. But if not, ladies, you cannot continue to think that men are just going to be easily fooled by your sexuality. Again, there is nothing wrong with a woman displaying her sexuality to her man. But when you're displaying this constantly over a public platform, and you're thinking that every man is just going to bow down to you simply because you look good and got a banging body, no. And this is the problem in the dynamic of relationships between men and women. We're living in 2021 in a pay-to-play culture. The lack of relationships, the decline of marriages, the increase of divorces is further proof that men are only looking at women as sexual objects, so they would rather pay the highest dollar just to sexually get enticed by these women, and women only view men as an ATM or financial or monetary resource, and so they would willingly give their bodies away just to be validated by that man. Many men are sexually manipulating women just for that monetary purpose. A lot of guys, they work hard, they build themselves up until becoming the best version of themselves, many of them. And then once they start getting some type of status, respectability, and some money, what do? Trick it off on the woman. Having to splurge everything on the woman. You know, going to the strip club, making it rain on the woman. Doing everything under the sun just to sexually exploit that woman. And let's say these women ain't in the strip clubs and clubs or all over social media. You see it in public. Many guys getting these women ill, say all these sweet nothings to them, you know, have this good mouthpiece, you know, got the gift for gab, only just for sex. And once they get the sex from the woman, you know what they do? Disappear. Many men out here are foolishly luring these women into a sexual trap simply because a lot of these men, they only view women as sexual objects. Now, granted, there are women that do put themselves out there to be treated as that. But as a man of God, I don't believe in viewing women in that regard. Now, if you want to be that way, I'll just keep my distance. But many men look at women in that regard because they really have nothing to offer to these women. A lot of these men just look at these women. Okay, I'm going to get with her. I'm going to hit that. I might want to knock that up. And what happens is without any type of proper communication dealing with this woman, without any forms of commitment, when wanting to develop something with this woman, this man just ups and disappears. Even though we are correct when we point out how the government cleverly designed for the man to be out of the home, let's keep this shit real. There are many men out here who purposely left the home simply because they didn't take the woman serious at all. Why didn't they take the woman serious at all? They wasn't serious with the woman to begin with. These men preyed on the emotions and the feelings as well as the internal attachment a woman has with a man when she gives sex to him. But he didn't care. Long as he got her off, He was cool. This is sexual manipulation as well. Many women become internally, psychologically, and emotionally damaged by men simply because men were playing mind games with women. And what does this lead for the direction of our people? It totally crumbles the nuclear family structure. So in closing, men have to stop luring women with these sweet promises if they are unable to deliver on the things that they say. Your actions speak better than words. Women have to start noticing the games that these men play and put a halt to it. Any guy can say something good to you, but if he doesn't display his words with true and absolute action behind his words, then that man is unworthy of getting your goods. Women, you have to stop being insistent that every man is going to fall for you simply because you look good or got a banging body. I tell people all the time, I don't care how fine you are. If I cannot have more than a 5 to 10 minute conversation with you, me being around you is pointless. I like to get to know a woman. I like to engage in positive and productive conversations with women because at heart, I'm a leader. And if I can't develop that kind of rapport with a woman, then I don't need that woman around me. Women, you have to convince yourselves that if you want to get the type of man you really want, stop viewing your body and sex as the only vessel available at your disposal to give to that man. In other words, stop trying to sell us with sex all the damn time thinking that we just gonna fall for it. Because men like myself, we just ain't. I pray that this conversation opens up a bigger discussion that we need to have amongst men and women. I honestly would say we need to kill the pay-to-play culture because it is destroying the natural dynamic of how men and women interact with each other. Sexual manipulation is a trap if you allow it. If you know how to maneuver around it, if you know how to not get caught up in it, use your mindset wisely and not get caught up in it. And that goes for both men and women. This is your brother Abdullah, and I'm going to leave you with this track at the end entitled Sexual Intercourse. Peace and love, and may God bless each and every last one of you. 100. It's hard to believe women losing their innocence by sexual predators acting so promiscuous and heavily assisted, supposed to be magnificent in sexual intercourse, a bad predicament. It's hard to believe women losing their innocence by sexual predators acting so promiscuous and heavily assisted, supposed to be magnificent in sexual intercourse, a bad predicament. When I get that feel